being the fastest quarterback you've never seen. I'll be right back. There's no quicker way to get into DFS. Play Super Draft today and see for yourself.
We're behind. They're all fired up. What we got to do? First place, our defense has got to go out there and take the ball. Then when we get the ball, we got to have 11 people that's going to do their job and try to score every time you get the football. If we do that, we'll be all right. Do that, we'll be all right.
If you are satisfied, if you are not hungry, you need to check yourself.
They want to take what you gotta go get it and go out.
Right now is your chance. Right now is your opportunity. Right now, you gotta make today count.
Roll Tide, everybody. How's everyone doing? Thanks for tuning in. This is the Nick Jr. and Rise Up College Football Talk Show. And tonight we got an interesting show. We got a Tennessee Volunteer fan on, so we're rocky topping tonight. So I'm gonna see if I can get Nick Jr. on here. Mr. Nick Jr., can you come in, sir?
What we do is important, but how we do what we do becomes more and more important. And that's for every guy here. We got to do it better. Our goal is to have the kind of team that nobody wants to play. And that means that we have to impose our will to dominate the competition all the time. It's all about what does it take to break you.
Roll Tide, brother. Can you hear me, Nick Jr.? Okay, we might be having some difficulties, you guys.
Nick, this is the part where you start talking.
I don't think he can hear us.
Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? Long time no see. Remember me? I'm interfering tonight.
Well,
I
that's
know,
Joey.
hang on. I know what the problem is.
Okay.
I know what the problem is. I have no sunglasses and no hat. Can't find my hat. But you remember me. You know, I used to do the Bama Smoke.
Yeah. This
But
is
Nick,
the CTS Sports Room, people. That's who this is. The man, the myth, the legend. I don't think he can hear us tonight.
Nick, I'm not doing your show.
Mm-hmm.
Did I hear you say you're a Tennessee fan?
Yes, we do.
Really?
Yes. Cool,
Why?
Cool young man. I don't know him well. Why? Because he's all about, college football, man. He's an SEC fan. And that's our rival, really.
Wow.
Tennessee is our rival. So,
well, why don't you bring him on so Nick Saban Jr. can figure out what's going on in his end. So introduce your guest.
So tonight, everybody in the family in the chat, we have a Tennessee fan, like I said, once again, Rocky Top to Mr. TriStar. Mr. TriStar, can you hear me, sir? Can you come in?
Hello.
All right.
There we go.
There we go.
How do I sound? How do I sound?
You sound good, man. I hear you so far. Nick Jr. is having some issues on his end. I don't think he can hear us over there.
Yeah, he must have that Fort Payne Wi-Fi or something. I don't know. Hey, listen, I'm from the Chattanooga area. DeKalb County ain't too far.
Okay.
Hey, first off, don't be making fun of Fort Payne or Rainsville. That's a good place to live. Sort of, kind of,
Yeah, hey,
somewhat.
hey, y'all still got a Santa Fe cattle company. I can't complain. I'm from the Chattanooga area. DeKalb County ain't too far. Okay.
Hey, first off, don't be making. Well, Nick Saban Jr., are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
All right. Well, CTS, it's been an honor. One day you'll see me again. Until then, I'm gonna go do whatever I was doing beforehand. Guys, have
You know
fun.
what you were doing beforehand.
This is a PG show. All right.
You were sleeping, brother. You were sleeping. You gotta go to
I
work.
wasn't sleeping. No, I just came back from LaGrange.
Okay.
All right. Y'all have fun. Roll Tide. Tad Simpson, I'm gonna be watching you this weekend. Catch y'all later.
Later. Okay. Once again, people in the chat, our good friends. We have again TriStar, Mr. Rocky Top himself, as I'm deeming him that name. TriStar, man, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. I'm glad you can make it, and good evening to you, sir. Can you hear me, TriStar?
I think he
Okay,
exited out.
yeah.
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it's like kind of spotty. I don't know what. Maybe it's the location I'm at. I don't know, but it just like for some reason it just like refreshed the page. I don't know why.
Got you. Okay.
So if I leave out, it's not me doing it. My phone's just like will refresh for some weird reason. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, listen, man, we're gonna get this show started and on the road. And I like to start the show myself personally, and I guess his phone went out again, with fun facts. And the fun fact is Alabama Tennessee first meeting between the two was November 28th, 1901.
Yep,
And that score ended in a
a 6-6 tie.
6-6 tie between my Alabama Crimson Tide and your Tennessee Volunteers.
By
So
the way, the two winningest programs in the SEC. Visor, I see you in there. Georgia, yes, they've won the last two national titles, but you still haven't caught up to Tennessee yet. Maybe in a few years you'll catch it.
Okay.
You still got about 3 more national titles before you catch us.
Yeah, I heard him, Georgia. That wasn't me. That was him. I have a question for you, sir. Do you know the history of the checkerboard design in the end zone and why Tennessee has the checkerboards?
From what I understand, I think it was started during the Doug Dickey tenure back in the 60s. I can't remember the exact reason why, but I want to say that's when they started doing it, was back in when they got the artificial turf.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 67?
64.
Oh, 64. Okay,
Yeah.
so conveniently the same year Georgia Tech left, and that's a whole other animal in itself.
Okay. Well, the reason that and you're right about Doug Dickey, he started the checkerboard end zone, but before then, General Robert Neyland was coaching the Volunteers, and before Neyland Stadium, Tennessee was playing in a smaller field, which held about 3,400, if I'm correct. Remember, and it was called the Shields Watkins Field.
Well, technically Shields Watkins Field is Neyland Stadium. They renamed it Neyland Stadium when Robert Neyland died.
And it grew, but back then it didn't have the big, the big stadium. It was
back in the during when Neyland died, because he designed pretty much the whole stadium to become a double bowl. He designed that back in the early 60s because he was an engineer in the Army, and he designed that. And everything you see today in terms of the actual, like where the seats are, not the press boxes, but like the seats, he designed all that back in the 60s.
Right. And so you guys have a building on campus that's called Ayers Hall. Ayers Hall.
Yeah, Ayers Hall, yes. It's,
and Ayers Hall at the time, it may still have, I'm not sure, at the top of it had, which looks to be a checkerboard design.
Yes, that's actually where Doug Dickey got the idea.
Well, they said Neyland would tell his guys, the football team, when they were on offense, and you could see at the time, you could see Ayers Hall, to don't stop until you reach the checkerboard or charge the checkerboard as like as a motivation tactic. So when they're, offense got the ball, they're heading toward Ayers Hall. He said, don't stop until you reach the checkerboard. And that's kind of what started it. And when Dickey came in, he actually, got the end zones painted checkerboard.
Yes.
And they have been that way, until today. So that's a little bit of history I learned. I didn't know, but it's a fun fact.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, Tennessee, there's so much tradition and so much history. For example, they've had those orange.
Oh, his phone went out. He's in a bad area. His phone went out, people.
Hey, I don't know what's going on, but
okay, we back in.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that. I don't know what's going on.
But anywho, man. So we get it that you a solid, true and through volunteer fan, pretty much historian.
Yes.
What? Okay, let me last season. You guys started off on this tear. You was going through everybody, and Alabama comes to town, and it's a dogfight. We're going back and forth, and we just can't seem. Our defense can't seem to stop you guys' high-powered, high-scored offense, and you guys put a ending win streak. He went out again. If you can still hear me, winning this streak from Alabama to end that streak, and you won last year. And I wanted to know, after the win, after Tennessee won last year, everything said and done, what were your feelings? I mean, like we were talking earlier, you said we're streaky. We win, you guys win, we win, you win. But after that long drought, what were your thoughts, man, after that game?
I was shocked that we was able to beat Alabama, to be honest with you, because we hadn't done it in 15 years.
Right. Because I hear tell that Morgan Wallen was up in one of the clubs up there and one of the bars, and man, it was like crazy pandemonium, and he kind of performed him and what's the quarterback name?
The one we just had, Hendon Hooker.
Not Hooker, no, not Hooker. Who used to Manning? Him and Manning walked into a place.
Yeah. Peyton Manning.
Him and Peyton walked into a place, and it was just sheer pandemonium. And they partied the whole night. Did you guys ever get that goalpost back that y'all put in the river?
Yeah.
I mean, because y'all put it in the river, but
hey,
we didn't end the SEC championship or nothing, man. It just, I know y'all elated to beat Bama, but it's still more football to be played. So what? I mean, after that, you
So,
guys go ahead, Nick. I'm gonna let you get in.
oh, okay. I don't even out again. Hey, y'all, we sorry about this. Is something going on? Keep knocking him off, but he coming back. Here we go. So try star.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I might have to actually turn my phone off and turn it back on or something because I'm having it just keeps refreshing. I don't know how to stop it. So give me a little bit to try to fix this problem because it's being very annoying. Okay, so just give me like 5 minutes to try to fix this.
All right, go ahead.
And we'll go from there.
Go ahead. So, what I was about to get into, I was about to ask some questions about the spring game. My better in the chat tomorrow. He can't wait to Saturday. Why you want to see who gonna stop Georgia win streak? That's what you wait for. See what quarterback gonna stop Georgia win streak.
Right.
Icebox, Jeff. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. We try to work out some technicalities real quick. Try to some difficulties real quick. So my thing is I'm about to get into this spring. What his thoughts about the spring game? Did anybody in the chat watch Tennessee spring game? Anything? I watched a little bit of it. It was so much. Yeah, it was so much football last Saturday. I ain't know what to do with myself, man.
Right. Yeah, I watched the spring game, and I think that third string quarterback looked better than everybody else. That's my personal opinion.
Then they say he was a walk-on, bro.
Walk on. And now the Nico. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
I don't want to do the dude like that, but he's a freshman. He didn't learn the system. Milton's been there, so he kind of know more. So from what Nico I got, I expected. But that walk-on guy, that guy was hey man, he was lighting it up. So
yeah, and see that's one of the questions I want to know. Is he a real contender? The second string split starting spot.
Right.
That's something I want to know too.
That's a good question because, like I said, man, the guy looked good as far as ball placement and everything. He might can't run like Milton or whatever the case may be, but this guy looked seasoned to me. I don't know much about him when he played ball before or anything like that. I was just like, who is this dude, man? This guy's putting on the show out here. And he really looks good to me, He looked better than Milton to me. That's my opinion.
Hey, so my thing is about Milton. That's why I want to try star because, we analyze other teams from a Bama fan perspective, but about other teams, I like to have the other team input. So my thing about Milton is he been around for a minute in college football, and it's a reason why he been around for a minute. Now, I do think it's get better, but sometimes it's a reason why you haven't been a starter yet or people moved on from you,
Right.
Because did Milton start at Michigan?
Yes.
Yes,
he did. Yeah, he did.
Yep.
So,
go
back and I'm gonna go back and get that mobile. He talking about he want waiting for our spring game come Saturday. We ain't gonna show y'all full hand, man. We just gonna show you. We ain't gonna show you everything.
And so earlier I went live. And I was talking about my thoughts on the quarterback situation right now. But one of the things I get out to is, don't. It was basically saying that it's going to be plain. It's going to be like because on our defense we don't do all them different schemes. We keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? And the offense they're going to keep it simple.
Right.
So
yeah,
even like Georgia on quarterback position, it looked a clear cut for Brock Benninger, but you know, it was really plain and vanilla. You know what I'm saying? I think Georgia want to go out there and show that they can pass the ball, you know. So, you know, I think it's gonna be a lot more that Georgia gonna end up showing when the fall gets here. Like, you know.
But I do have a question for the Georgia fan. You guys number 87. I don't know the young man's name, but that's somebody to watch out for. Number 87, Georgia man, that boy, he actually did a return. He was catching the ball. He was all over the place.
Was it my Muse or something like that?
Something like that, man. Something like that. But this kid he looks to be dynamic. I know it's a spring game and I know everything went all out on the line, but he kind of reminded me of Bowers a little bit. This cat was everywhere and he looked damn good and he had some good hands on him. So he might be the next guy coming up, you know, for UGA in the future. So, because from what my understanding, he's a freshman. So, but he looked good.
He said we already looking for another quarterback in the Porter. Man, rumors. That's all I'm gonna say about the rumors. They say Tyler Van Dyke. They say he used that. He used that. He's gonna hit the portal for more NIL money. That's what I heard.
Right. That's what you were telling me earlier.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Sorry, man, but we ain't we're not looking for a quarterback in the portal. We good.
No, I don't think it's gonna happen. Sidney said, "Do we think Coach Saban will go in the portal for a quarterback?" This is my opinion. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I really think he trusts Ty and Jalen Miro to get the job done. But my opinion on going into the portal for a quarterback is I think we'll be taking a step back because now you got to get a quarterback. You got to find a quarterback that's worth going in the portal to get. Now he got to learn the system. Now he got to try to win him over. And you know what I'm saying? I just think personally we'll be taking a step back if we went that route. My question is, will we go into the portal for somebody in the secondary, as far as cornerback in a safe, like cornerback and safety position? That's my thoughts because we just took a hit in the portal on the backs, you know, Trayvon Fagans and Jacquez Robinson, and those are two highly talented dudes coming out of high school, you know, top 150 players, I believe. And so, with that being said, I wonder if we would go into the portal looking for a secondary player.
We would before we do a quarterback. The only reason I say we would be going into the portal for a quarterback if we just had Holsting and Lonigan. But I'm with you with Ty Simpson and Jalen Miro. You know, got to realize Miro, this will be his third year. Ty second. We're good. We're good. Whichever guy wins the job, and I'm behind him. But in that position, I think we're okay. But I'm with you about the corners. We need secondary.
Yeah.
For depth reasons.
Yep. That hurt our depth. My man Trust back on. Let's see what we got going. Let's see
if this works now.
Okay.
All right. So, Trust I want to get. All right. Do you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you some. Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to get your thoughts. I'm hearing the echo somewhere.
I don't know. I've got I don't have any headset on or anything like that. I don't know, but it's pretty glitchy. Like I said, it could just be my location. I don't know.
All right, if you can hear me. All right, I don't know if there's a volume thing.
Hold on. Maybe, I don't know. Hold on. Hello.
Okay.
Is that any better?
That's a little louder.
Oh, Jesus.
It's all right.
I'm hearing that echo now. Oh man, I had so many questions for him too, man.
Yeah.
I had questions for him.
We're gonna work this thing out, hopefully.
All right, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Does that sound better?
Sound fuzzy.
It sounds a little fuzzy and you're still low. But can you hear us good though?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
All right, go ahead. Riley, do you got questions?
No, I want you to go ahead, Nick. What you going to ask him about the spring game?
So
Okay.
try to start. What was your thoughts? What was your overall thoughts on this week's spring game for C?
Dang, he went out again.
Hey, I know I'm feeling too, man. I know that feeling about when you can't get this thing right. I know the feeling.
Okay. Man, I was so looking forward to this.
How about now?
Oh, you sound great.
That sounds good.
Man, we're having the toughest time.
Hey, man, these Georgia fans give you hell over here, man. You got Georgia fans.
Visor, Visor. Yeah, this is completely out of my control. I've never had it where my browser will just start, refreshing automatically. I've never had that problem.
Okay.
Hey, let me ask you one question. Are you getting text message or something in this
No,
process?
I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
Like I said, it could be where I'm at, because like I said, I've got 2 bars, so it could just be my location. I don't know.
Gotcha. So, what was your overall thoughts on Tennessee spring game this week?
I mean, you weren't really going to see much out of it. I mean, the only starter that we had out there was Joe Milton, so I mean, you can't really tell. I mean, from what I've seen, I thought everybody did their job and did what they were supposed to do. I mean, the only thing that scared me was Ethan Davis, that freshman tight end. We got that stud tight end hurt his collarbone on a diving catch.
Right.
And I hope that he can recover quickly and soundly and fondly.
Okay.
And another thing, I want to talk about our quarterbacks. So we know Joe Milton, then we knew about Nico, but we see another guy. We hear he's a walk-on, and he's pretty good. So, do you think he can possibly compete for a second string position or possibly push Milton in the first string?
I'm sure that Coach Heupel is going to let him compete, but I will be extremely shocked if he's a starter.
Okay.
I'll just say that. I mean, because you got to think, these are, like I said, these guys that were out there on the field were a lot of third strings, depth pieces. Like I said, none of our starting wide receivers even seen the field. I mean, again, like I said, it's one of those things, it's hard to tell. But from what I did see, I was impressed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So,
got anything else, Roz?
Not really. As far as that, I'm gonna go through the schedule coming up. With, I want everybody to know in the chat that he's a trucker, so he's on the road. So
so I might be in places where the signal is not the best.
Right.
It's not like I'm at my house where I've got Wi-Fi and we wouldn't be having any of these problems.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's all good. So one more thing before we go. So who do you see stepping up in that wide receiver role since y'all since Hyatt is gone and the dude, what is his name? Cedric
Tillman.
Yeah. Yes. Who you see stepping up for them this year?
Of course, I expect Brew McCoy to get a lot more touches.
Yep.
Squirrel White, Ramel Keaton, and my guy Dante Thornton. I know, Brock, you get mad at me for hyping him up so much, but this guy's 6'5", 210, runs a 4.3. So, yeah, that makes me hyped up a little bit, having a guy
Okay.
of that caliber.
So
And
go ahead.
And just really our whole wide receiver room. I mean, it's just they're just completely just stacked from top to bottom. I can see all these guys ending up in the NFL. I'll say that.
Okay. So defensive side of the ball, they say they say that was like one of y'all weak point last season. Do you see this defense improving from last year? I thought it was decent.
I mean,
was it?
I mean they can't be any worse. I mean, you can only go up. I will say this: our defensive line played pretty good. Our linebackers were decent. Really, our secondary was our weak link last year. A lot of it because we were so depleted at the cornerback position. Like, we were having safeties play cornerback. And, of course, safeties don't have cornerback speed, so it's not going to work. And now I feel like we've been bringing guys in.
Okay.
And
so So the question is, can Tennessee beat Alabama 2 years in a row?
I mean, it's possible. It's not impossible. I mean, I've been hearing from Alabama fans is like, oh yeah, well that crap that happened there last year, that ain't gonna happen at Bryant Denny. I'm like, listen, it's gonna be a 50-50 game. It's a chess match.
Yeah.
I think he timed out again over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when he get back on, I'm gonna run the schedule now. Yeah. I know.
Hopefully the next time I'm able to come on, hopefully I have better luck than what I've got right now in terms of my connection.
It's okay.
Yes. Yeah. Anyways, you was asking, can Tennessee beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa? Yes. I mean, I think that we've got the offensive firepower. I think our defense takes a step forward this year. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to have Georgia's defense or anything like that. I don't expect that at all. If a Tennessee fan's saying we're going to have a top 10 defense, they're crazy. I mean, I expect them to get some better, but I think we've got the offensive weapons to move the ball. And honestly, I have more questions about Alabama than I do Tennessee. Like, I want to know who's going to be your starting quarterback. How are you going to replace Will Anderson? How are you going to replace Henry To'o? Can your secondary trust me, I know he can't cover a slant. Don't get me started on that. It ain't personal, it's just business.
Business-wise, I wish he would have stayed in Tennessee. Hell.
Well, you can thank your lovable Jeremy Pruitt for that guy. But anyways, yeah, I mean, like I said, I expect Tennessee-Alabama to be a chess match. I expect Tennessee-Georgia to be a chess match. I think it could go either way. I'll say I can't see either team blowing out the other. If a fan of either team says, oh, we're just going to curb stomp you, they don't know football. I mean, if an Alabama person is saying, oh, we're going to beat Tennessee by 30, you obviously don't know anything.
Okay. And my next question is, before we get into the schedule preview, will Tennessee beat Georgia in Neyland Stadium?
Again, the same thing like with beating Alabama at Bryant Denny. It's possible. It's not impossible. I mean, it's just how does Tennessee play their best game, or does Tennessee come in there nervous? I don't think that they're going to be nervous like they were last year, because it's at home, it's at Neyland, and Neyland Stadium, especially when Tennessee's cooking, you probably won't find a tougher environment.
That's facts. 247 Sports put a some images about like a month ago, a month ago, like, and they was naming the top 10 toughest environments to play in.
I know
And
this
Georgia,
answer.
yeah, and Neyland
The
Stadium
number
was
one is
number one.
Tennessee, Georgia.
And
Tennessee, Georgia's number one.
and it's something I couldn't disagree on. Like, cause man, listen, when you go to Tennessee, man, you playing against the fans, you playing against Tennessee football, you playing against you playing against everybody. Like, I'm not saying the refs. Like, I'm just saying everybody is dialed into Tennessee football. The fans in Tennessee are.
Now,
I feel like they're like no other.
I see some comments down there saying about, oh, you guys had the refs and all that stuff. Listen, hearing an Alabama fan talking about bad officiating is like talking to a drunk about alcoholism.
Oh boy, hey,
all I gotta say is the Texas game last year. Oh, okay. Visor's down there talking his noise down there. Mr. Back to Back. See, that's the thing. Like, all I gotta say is good luck at Neyland Stadium.
Okay.
I mean, hey, Bryce Young played the game of his life last year, and it still wasn't enough. And yes, when Georgia played us, they played mad because they put Tennessee at number one, and they were mad.
Hey, King Zay Grant, AK, I can't drop the link, but if you want to do a show in the future, hit me up on this email right here. One more question before we get into this schedule preview.
Okay.
So I know what you're gonna say, but I gotta. Was last season a fluke? Was it a fluke last season?
I don't think so. I mean, we'll find out as the season goes, but I don't think so. I think Tennessee's here to stay. I mean, I'm sure the other gentleman in here can, because he's an older gentleman. I'm not trying to pick at you, but I'm saying you've been around the block. When Tennessee starts cooking and getting it going and getting really good, they're really good for a while. They're not a one-year wonder. They usually step because they recruit at a good enough level to be good. I mean, even during the 15-year down period, we were still recruiting top 10. I mean, top 10, top 15. And we even had like 2 or 3 top 5 classes during the Bush Jones years. And don't get me started on that. You talk about massive underachievement. I'm still mad about 2015 and 16.
Okay. Hey man, I like this. So rise up. You can go and get into the schedule preview. Let's get into the schedule preview right now. We about to go over the schedule.
Okay. So, Mr. TriStar, you guys have a pretty nice schedule here. We're gonna start on the opening game, September 2nd. You guys at home versus Virginia. What do you think the outtake, of that game is going to be? What are your score prediction?
What do I think? It's going to be name your score for Tennessee, basically.
That's facts.
Okay. So what do you see Tennessee scoring? Just to estimate.
At least 50.
At least 50. And you give Virginia
at most 14.
14. Okay.
At
least 50, at most 14. Okay.
Yeah, Virginia's pretty bad. They're not a good team.
Yeah,
and Nashville's basically going to be a home game. The reason that game's happening, that was supposed to originally be the road game at BYU, but BYU canceled it. So we had to find a replacement, and that's what happened.
Okay. Then September 9th, you guys are home again against Austin. I'm not for sure if it's pronounced
Austin P. It's Austin P.
Okay. Some people said Pay. I wasn't sure.
No, it's Austin P. The Governors. C. Virginia. That's all I gotta say.
C. Virginia. Okay. Okay. Well, the week after, September 16th, you guys are away and you're going down to Florida.
On the road at Florida.
And you're going to meet those Gators.
I'm wanting to say see Virginia, but the history of that one, we've went into Florida several times as a much better team, but for some reason they play us tough, and they've beaten us several times when we were the much better team. So I'm going to say we win, but I would say it'd be 41-14. I'm just dropping the score.
That's almost Sweet Virginia.
Whoa.
That's almost Sweet Virginia, brother. You know what
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Graham Mertz was the worst quarterback in the Big Ten, and then you bring him into the SEC. I'm sorry. He's going to get destroyed.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And in the words of old Uncle Woo, Sunbelt Billy don't know what he's doing. He's in over his head.
Hey, I said this about Billy Napier. I said, hey, I know this is his second year, but hey, when you in Florida, you better get it together fast, because if you don't win,
I mean, there's no reason. Listen, there is no reason Florida should not be a top 10 team with how much talent is in that state, and they're in the SEC. They're the Florida team in the best conference, but yet they're continuing to piss down their leg.
yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
Okay, so we leave Florida. You guys come back home to Knoxville, and you play
UTSA.
University of Texas, San Antonio, which we already know.
I mean,
God damn it! I'm sorry about
that. He coming back. He coming back. I know he coming back.
Dude.
Hey, this straight too.
I'm telling you, man, this is getting on my nerves.
I understand. But
anyways,
UTSA.
back to UTSA. So UTSA, see Virginia.
Okay. Hey, I'm with you on that one. Okay.
Name your score, basically.
The next following week, you guys are at home again. You got to play the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now, South Carolina,
the Pecker Man.
They're feeling pretty good.
Well, I'll say this: Spencer Rattler played the best game of his life against Tennessee. He didn't even play that good against Clemson. The only reason South Carolina won that game was because Clemson pissed down their leg. I'm going to say he doesn't have a game like that again, but I'll be nice with him. I say Tennessee wins 35-21.
Okay.
And that's me being nice. Of course, the fan in me, being that Josh Heupel is the most petty individual on the planet Earth and remembers things and knows from players I've heard out of their mouth that he has that game circled as he wants to get revenge. And as you've seen with Missouri last year, he likes to run up the score a little bit. So I'll just be nice and say 35-21.
Okay.
Hey, Mo better. Hey, TriStar, you see the comment on
gimmick offense? Okay.
Hey, what's your hashtag?
Okay,
Tell
well,
me your
here's the thing. That gimmick offense put up 52 on you, sir. So it's working. I'm fine with that. I'm fine. Hey, if the gimmick offense got us 11 wins, I ain't complaining.
Hey, he a Georgia fan, but tell him your hashtag.
He's a puppy dog. I ain't worried about him. Go worry about Georgia Tech over there. Go worry about the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech.
That's funny.
All right, we come back in. We get to Tamu. I guess we're gonna get through the schedule one way or the other.
Oh, we'll get through this. I didn't realize he got knocked off. Hey, Dylan.
Yeah, he got knocked off, man.
Okay, yeah. Let's kind of zoom through it a little bit because I'm afraid it's gonna crash again.
All right, next up, you got the home against Texas A&M.
Well, that game could be a question mark because I don't know how Texas A&M is going to be. Is Jimbo going to stop being stubborn and let Bobby Petrino be the play caller, or is Jimbo still going to be calling plays? If Jimbo's still calling plays, I'll say name your score. But if Bobby Petrino's allowed to call plays, that could be a good game. But the thing is that's coming off of a bye week, and the week before they have to play you guys. Now it's at Kyle Field, but they got to play Alabama the week before they play us.
Right.
So that could be interesting, and that's going to be a very tough road game for them. But I'm still picking Tennessee to win. I'll say Tennessee 38-27.
Oh, you giving them some you giving them some credit. Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, I mean, until I see who's calling the plays, I'm not going to say a blowout or not. I don't know.
okay.
TriStar, I'm with you. I'm with you with the Bobby Petrino thing because we seen in the past what he can do with the offense. But my thing is,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, my God, he was the offensive mind behind Lamar Jackson, for God's
yeah.
sakes.
And see,
And
this is
he
what I'm
won
about
a
to get at.
Heisman. He
Yeah.
knows what he's doing, but it's just I don't see it because Jimbo Fisher is so stubborn, and he has Texas A&M by the balls right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he can say, "Well, if you don't want me calling plays, then fire me."
Right.
He can call their bluff. But continue, and I know this is the game all y'all been wanting to hear about.
Third Saturday in October, baby. And Tennessee got to roll.
I'll
And
say it, the most prestigious rivalry in the SEC.
y'all heard that, didn't you, Georgia?
Listen, Georgia, this is the big boys talking over here, okay? Sit over there, little kids, okay?
So Tennessee rolled into Tuscaloosa, and give it to me.
All right. Okay, first off, this Mo better. Okay. So anyway,
Damn. It
He
get
covered.
knocked off, man. It's frustrating.
Yeah, cause TriStar talking that noise. Hey, talk that talk. Know what I want. Let's go.
all right, let's try this again. Jesus Christ.
Let's go.
Okay. So, this game could go either way. This is a 50-50 toss-up. Like I said, I think Tennessee's going to be great on offense. The defense is to be seen, but I think we'll be a little bit better this year. I think we'll get some more stops and all that stuff. Again, like I said, we're not going to have Georgia's defense. I'm not saying that. But with Tennessee's offense, you don't have to have Georgia's defense. And I'm going to say, who are y'all thinking is going to be the starting quarterback? Is it going to be Ty Simpson or Milrow? Who are you thinking?
Hey,
This will
I'm gonna tell you.
determine my pick.
Hey, I'm going with Miro. I'm going with Miro.
I'll say this. If Milrow is the starting quarterback, I'll say 42-35 Tennessee.
Wow.
If
I got to repeat.
Ty Simpson.
Yeah, if Ty Simpson.
Milrow needs to get a lot better at throwing the ball if he's going to try to keep up with Tennessee.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I am no Kevin Steele fan. I think y'all should have went and got Glenn Schumann in my opinion, but yeah.
Okay. And if Ty Simpson is the quarterback?
If it's Ty Simpson, I would say 45-42 Alabama. I'm just throwing out there.
That's. TriStar. I'm telling you, it don't matter what quarterback we come out there with. We're gonna win. We coming for blood this year.
Again, I've got to see it from your defense. I mean, you're not going to have as an explosive an offense as you did last year. That's obvious because Tommy Rees is a completely different offensive system, and y'all don't have Bryce Young. and I got to see it from Milroe. Ty Simpson, we don't know because we've not really seen much of, if any of him. But I believe he's a great.
Hey, my better said something I can agree with. Miro will have 200 rushing yards against Tennessee. I hear you, Mo better.
Listen, Jace McClellan's not Jameer
Oh,
Gibbs,
come on.
okay?
Oh, my bad. Hold on. I clicked them off. My bad.
He said Jason McClellan is not Jameer. He forgot about we got Justin Hayes, man, bro.
Hey.
You know,
I don't know what the problem is right now.
We
But
back.
anyways, as I was saying, Jace McClellan's not Jameer Gibbs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I love Jace's mother, but I gotta be realistic. I'm sorry, he's not Jameer Gibbs. Y'all probably about 110 yards rushing. Tennessee probably about 180.
What?
Oh,
Listen, man.
star.
I respect another man's opinion to have it, listen. But they ain't about to happen. But
Nah.
I respect your thoughts, though.
See now the people saying 55 to 30, that's delusional right there. You're thinking of 2011 Alabama where you're shutting people out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to be realistic. I mean, Tennessee is a tough game for Alabama. I mean, if you're thinking that for any Alabama fan out here thinking that you're just going to steamroll Tennessee, you're not. It's a toss-up game. It is. But
Yeah.
anyways, back to it. Let's try to get through this while it's not crashing.
Okay, so we did Bama, Kentucky. You guys go to Kentucky.
Kentucky concerns me a little bit because
I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Alabama don't concern you, but Kentucky concern you.
no, it's because it's on the road. It's in Lexington, and they always play us really tough in Lexington. They've done it for years, and I think that they might try to slow the game down, but I'm going to say Tennessee 45, Kentucky 21 until further
Okay.
notice.
All right. Then you guys come back home and you got Connecticut, and
That's
you already know.
name your scores. See Virginia.
Okay. Then after that, you're at home the following week with Mizzou.
Name your score.
No. Now here's the thing, though. Missouri. That's in Columbia. That's on the road. That could be a little interesting, but I don't think Josh Heupel ever doesn't score 60 on Missouri. I'm sorry, and I'm not a fan of Eli Drink Piss. That's why I call him, because he runs his mouth a lot.
Okay. Then you guys are at home, and the Bulldogs roll. Georgia Bulldog roll
The
the time.
two-time defending national champions
Right.
come into Neyland Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And what I just heard from that out.
Lord have mercy.
Hey, my better. Hey, bro, I'm rocking with you tonight in these comments, dog. I'm rocking with you tonight, baby.
Come on back, man.
All right, let's do it again. As I was saying, like that person
They're
said
gonna slow
about the
computer over here.
Alabama 55 to 30, I'm hearing the same thing from the Georgia man. The exact same thing. Like, you're not beating us. Yes, I agree. Tennessee's only averaged 15 points a game the last 2 years. And I could say, okay, 2021, that was Heupel's first season, which, by the way, Cedric Tillman had 200 yards receiving, but they failed to mention that. And then last year, I would argue it was the road environment. I mean, that.
Come on. My boy Mo Better said I hate Tennessee more than Alabama. Oh,
I mean, back to what I was
come on.
saying, I would argue that Tennessee Georgia game, a lot of that was the environment, and Tennessee was nervous. Like, they had never been in that kind of road environment. And I feel like, this time they're going to be a lot more prepared. It's going to go a lot better for Tennessee. And I'm calling my shot right now. I think Tennessee wins that one 30-24.
Oh,
Only
okay.
by 6.
That's solid. That's a solid score prediction, though. That's solid.
Yeah, I'm not saying Tennessee scoring 50 on Georgia. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
I think that game comes down to the wire. I do. I mean, there's another scenario I can see Georgia winning it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
If y'all win, are y'all gonna tear the goalpost down?
And then the last game, I already know Vanderbilt. Name your score.
Name and score. But if you gotta beat Georgia, are you tearing the goalpost down?
No,
Why not?
because we've only done that we've only done that 3 times. 2 of them were against Alabama, and 1 was against Florida in '98.
Hey, so Georgia fans, what they're telling you is more of a thing to beat Alabama than Georgia.
That's what he
Because
said.
we still the big dogs.
I mean, again, like I said, Tennessee. The first time that Tennessee tore down the goalpost was 1982, Bear Bryant's last year, when we hadn't beaten Alabama in 11 years. So we beat Alabama, and they stormed the field, and they tore down the goalpost, and they threw them in the Tennessee River. Then in 1998, that was when Steve Spurrier was at Florida. We hadn't beaten them in 5 years. And at that point, I would say that was our biggest rival at that time, because it was always a top 5 matchup. And then we finally beat them, get over that hump, and then we go on to win the national championship. And then, of course, last year, 15 years losing to your biggest rival, like literally when Tennessee won that game, I cried. I cried tears. I mean, when your biggest rival had been skull
Yeah,
dragging you for
yeah.
15 years, and then you finally get over that hump. And for Alabama fans that's sitting here saying, "Oh, Tennessee's not our rival," yes, you are.
Oh, yeah, facts. We are. Yeah, that
I said,
is.
why do you think when you lost to us, now, I'm not saying all Alabama fans are doing this, but a lot of them were saying, "Oh, that is like the refs were bought." I heard 10,000 excuses. Just like you would have thought the world was ending for Alabama because they just couldn't believe that they lost to that team in East Tennessee. That
Hey,
we don't lose to them.
hey, I know me. It hurt me. As a Alabama fan, that hurt.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just like, for example, you ask an Auburn fan right now, what team does Auburn hate the most? They can't stand the sight of that G, because Georgia has been just kicking the crap out of Auburn for the last 5 years. I mean,
Hey,
just
Brock got a question. Brock said, so y'all going 12-0. You didn't say one loss on the
yeah,
schedule.
yeah, yes, I did. I said for Alabama, it depends on the quarterback, and I was being realistic. If you think Tennessee possibly couldn't go undefeated, you're crazy. Are they? Probably not. But there's a possibility there.
Them dogs said, no, y'all ain't going to,
Tennessee's
you ain't
biggest
going
rival
nowhere.
is Kentucky. No, it's not. Tennessee's biggest rival is Alabama. We played Alabama every year since 1928. Every year. Tennessee's played Alabama way more than Auburn has. Now, I understand Auburn because that's the in-state thing. But I would argue it, depending on the Alabama fans' age and Tennessee fans' age. Like, if you ask any Tennessee fan my age, you'll probably hear Florida is their biggest rival. But if you go like my dad's generation and before, it was always Alabama. That was always the game. I mean, literally, when you have Phil Fulmer coming out saying you're not a man until you beat Alabama, What does that tell you?
You hear this, Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree, Trystar. I hear you. I hear you, man.
So
well, see, these comments like this one guy, what's his name, Mo Better,
Yeah.
04, Bama doesn't care about the Tennessee game. You're obviously not an Alabama fan, because if my wife's grandfather, who's been an Alabama fan since the 60s, heard you say that, he would smack you across the face and say, you're not an Alabama fan, go support Auburn.
He'll. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. As Bama fans, we care about the Tennessee game, whether y'all down or not. That's that's an important game. It's history. It's history. That
Oh,
game
yeah,
is
I
history,
mean,
man.
you got the two most legendary coaches in SEC history, Bear Bryant and Robert Neyland. Which, by the way, Bear Bryant never beat Neyland, but that's beside the point. He only tied him one time when he was at Kentucky. Yeah, I bet y'all didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Bear Bryant never beat Robert Neyland once.
Mm-hmm. Something new. Learned something new tonight. I didn't know that myself. I must say I did not know that.
And I agree with what Brock's saying. Yes, our secondary and our offensive line are a question mark. I agree. But I just have confidence in my team. I mean, Brock, you're the one that keeps telling me about, oh, yeah, when you come down to T-Town, oh, yeah, we're going to drag you up and down the field. See, that you're wearing your crimson color glasses when you say that. Again, gentlemen, what did I say when it came to the Alabama and Georgia game? I said they're toss-ups.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Yeah,
And,
that's
and,
fact.
and, and do you guys agree or disagree when it comes to the other 10 games? Do y'all agree or disagree?
Say it
I
again.
pretty much agree. I agree.
So you agree, pretty much outside of Georgia and Alabama, we should win convincingly with all those other teams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Like
okay.
even when you said Kentucky, that even shocked me knowing that Kentucky has a transfer quarterback coming in.
Yeah, it's just
They do it.
I like their quarterback, and they're a very physical team. And honestly, for Alabama, that's a game y'all need to take very seriously, especially it being in Lexington. Like, they always play good teams. Like, look at last year; they almost beat Georgia last year.
Yeah, they just couldn't
And
score. They couldn't score. And,
especially going there late in the year.
and with Kentucky, they're bringing
And
that
hey,
Liam Cohen back.
yeah, hey, tell Jeff this, because I've got some bets out with some Alabama fans on that Tennessee Alabama game. And listen, if y'all beat us, I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, it was the refs or this or that or whatever. No, I mean, if Alabama wins, they were the better team that day. If Tennessee wins, they were the better team that day. Same thing with Tennessee, Georgia. I don't want to hear Georgia fans complain about officiating if Tennessee wins. I don't want to hear Tennessee fans complain about officiating if we lose to Georgia. Same thing if, say, Georgia and Alabama play each other, like in a playoff or SEC championship. I don't want to hear any team saying that the refs were bought off by that team. No, you didn't play good enough.
Now, I'm gonna tell you my opinion. Like with the Tennessee game, I said it though. I said like, yeah, we can make that argument. We can say that. I said, but we did leave opportunities that where it should have been better. And like, because I go back to that one play where we hit Jameer Gibbs across the middle and he dropped the pass. I feel like if he could have caught that pass, that probably could have helped the impact of the game too.
Yeah, but and there's one thing too. One thing I thought that was going to be the nail in the coffin for Tennessee was that play where Hendon Hooker tried to hand the ball off to Jabari Small and the ball got dropped, and then Dallas Turner just walked right into the end zone.
Yeah.
The scoop and score. I thought that was it. I was like, there's that knockout blow. I thought Alabama won it. But then Tennessee just didn't give up. They just kept going. And I've argued this. Do you think if it had been Jalen Milroe, say Bryce's shoulder still wasn't 100%, he wasn't able to play, do you guys still stand that much of a chance if it's Jalen Milroe?
Not last season, Jalen Miro.
Not with
No.
our OC we had, no.
And see, I
Yeah.
hear that from Alabama fans. It's like, oh no, we still would have won. I'm like, no,
And,
Jalen
and, and see,
Milroe was not good.
and see the reason why I agree with you on this, but I'm gonna say this on Miro's defense. Bill O'Brien did not scheme for Miro. Like Bill O'Brien came out there calling plays for Miro when he had his stance, like he still had Bryce Young. And I say this all the time.
So you're
This
basically
doesn't work.
saying,
Go ahead.
so basically you're saying that he was to Jalen Milroe what Dabo Swinney was to DJ Ukulele.
Yes. Hell yeah. I'm just saying, like, cause like, okay, you got Peyton Manning, but you trying to call Lamar Jackson plays for Peyton Manning. That shit, that you gotta scheme around your offense, the talent on your offense. And the only person he was trying to scheme around is Bryce. And with that being said, he schemed around Bryce, but you just scheme around other players. You just can't do that. You have, as an OC, you have to scheme around, you have to scheme for your whole offense. It's your job to create the mismatch. It's your job to find the mismatch. So Bill O'Brien and Miro versus Tennessee last year, yeah, that would have looked awful. It was Bryce Young that kept us in that game.
Yeah,
last season.
I want to see if y'all agree or disagree, and you guys in the comments agree or disagree. Is Bryce Young the best quarterback talent-wise you've ever had? I'll say yes.
I think so.
And I still remember who was that quarterback y'all had in the early 2000s from Gadsden? He was like a #1 quarterback, and he was an in-state kid. Everybody hyped him up. I even remember those. Hell, I remember seeing Sean Alexander out there.
You man move at the Sean Alexander, baby.
Hey,
that guy was a stud, man.
He was.
God, that guy was good.
Heck yeah.
He never beat Tennessee though.
Hey, so I back in the Peyton Manning time, I want to say around 94, I think. It was a time that Tennessee fans didn't even care for Tennessee Peyton Manning. I think it was 94. I'm not sure what year, but
it was when Tennessee and Alabama played at Legion Field and Tennessee scored on the first play with a Peyton Manning pass to Joey Kent.
I'm not talking about
that. If you're thinking, are you talking? Well, see, that was. If I'm thinking of that was 95. That was the year I was born. Conveniently, my dad was at that game.
Okay. I just remember it was at one point that Tennessee wanted another quarterback over Peyton. I can't remember. I think his last name was Stewart or something like that. I can't remember.
I don't know. I mean, Peyton was the #1 player in the country coming out of high school. I wouldn't think of another player that they would have wanted. I mean, he was their top. He was the top guy.
It was a fan. It was like, you know, crazy fans have these thoughts. I'm gonna look it up what I'm talking about. I'll tell you later on. I'll DM you or whatever.
Yeah, Jeff, you're wondering why I'm not showing my face. The real reason right now is because if I turn my camera on, it'll probably keep crashing worse. That's why. I mean,
I will tell y'all he's repping Tennessee though. He has his Tennessee gear on. I saw him earlier.
Hey,
he's repping the Volunteers.
That's why I want to TriStar on, because I know TriStar know that 10 football. Try to go and tell you some stuff that you don't even think about Tennessee, and probably about your team too as well. And I know he was gonna rep his set to the fullest. And TriStar, you are giving. Go ahead.
Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. I didn't know you saying something. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and you're doing exactly what I want you to do. Talk your noise, bro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this Mo Better person talking down here. Ugly ass orange. I'm being nice right now. I could say, well, Alabama's crimson looks like period blood. I mean, I could say that.
Hey,
No,
hey, hold on.
Mo Better is
Georgia
a Georgia
fan.
fan.
We a Georgia fan.
Oh, Mo Better's a Georgia guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All I gotta say is Eric Ainge 2006, Arian Foster 07.
Ooh.
I think No Sean Moreno still knocked out from Eric Berry 08. I think Montero Hardesty's still scoring in 09. Massive underachievement. Ray Goff. That's a name Georgia fans hate. Ray Goff. Hudson Mason was the best quarterback you ever had.
Oh
Stetson
boy.
Bennett. Stetson Bennett is the perfect example of that phrase. The nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan.
Wow.
I mean, seriously, to get to Sanford Stadium in that shithole of a town called Athens, Georgia, you have to go down Highway 316, which is statistically proven to be the most dangerous road in the state of Georgia. And I used to live down there, and I used to work down there, and I know what I'm talking about. Before anybody asks, I used to live in Marietta. I've got friends that live in Athens, and literally, you guys sit there and bark at each other. You guys have historically massively underachieved the whole Mark Richt era. How is it you have Matthew Stafford, AJ Green, no Sean Moreno, and you can't even win the SEC? Most talented team we've ever had, but yet
That
you
is.
but yet you want to sit here and say, "Oh, orange is ugly." No, I'm sorry, that red you got's ugly. Georgia's so bad that they have to buy the Green Bay Packers logo. I mean, here's the
Oh
thing.
boy.
Here's the thing, Georgia man. I've let you have your fun your last 2 years because you finally did something. You finally achieved something. You finally grew up to be a real boy. Like who's it with Pinocchio? He couldn't never change, and he finally grew up and became a real boy. Because that's fine. Let Kirby Smart keep making those false promises to all those players he's recruiting. Like he's doing to Ryan Wingo right now, trying to tell him, "Oh, you'll be my first 1,000-yard wide receiver." Yeah, to every single wide receiver Kirby Smart's ever recruited. Why would a wide receiver ever want to go to Georgia, anyways? I mean, literally, you've only had two wide receivers in your whole entire history go in the first round. Y'all don't even have a Blitnikoff winner. Tennessee's wide receiver U historically. Tennessee has produced more first rounders at wide receiver in a decade than Georgia's ever produced. And that's fine. You know, Georgia can sit there right now. They're on their high horse. They think that they're invincible. They think that they ain't beaten, that nobody's going to beat them. Well, guess what happens? Guess what? You're about to get Dylan Raiola, and that's a great get. But how you gonna be able to pay all those other top level recruits when you gotta spend all your money, $3 million a year, on a quarterback? Because last I heard, Georgia's NIL program ain't too good.
Wow. Okay.
So you better go up to them carpet mills in Dalton and Calhoun and start making more carpet to get some money. I don't know.
Hey, TriStar. Brody Corwell was the dude you talking about from Rainbow City, right?
Who?
Brody
What's the name?
Brody Corwell.
Brody Croyle. Yeah, Brody Croyle. Yeah, I remember him because he was so hyped up. Because he was an in-state kid, and at that time, Alabama wasn't really known for producing high-level high school talent. Oh, somebody said he went to Rainbow City, which is Rainbow City's Gaston. I mean, come on now, Rainbow City, South Side, Steele. I mean, that's all Gaston. That's all Etowah County. We didn't
I'll
pay
try.
him $8 million for 1 year. It's $8 million for 4. But hey, we've got the money to do that, so it's okay. Georgia ain't got that kind of money.
Hey, so speaking of that, so what the future of pronounce his name for me, Nico. I can't pronounce his last
Me.
name.
All right. Listen to me. Eyal Maliava.
Woo!
He
Eyal Maliava.
Maliaba.
There you
Okay.
go, Nico Eyal Maliava.
And I would like to get the dude's name right because I remember when Tua came, and everybody was calling him man.
Tua
Yeah.
Tagovailoa. Yeah, everybody got confused. Like,
Right.
how you
So
pronounce this kid's name?
right.
Because I mean, Billy Ray up there in Birmingham, he can't pronounce it because he's too slow. oh,
Hey, so what I'm
Billy Ray from Bibb County, he ain't able to pronounce them big words.
Hey, so what do you see the future of that kid being?
He's obviously got elite arm talent. The only thing right now, he just needs to gain about 30 pounds.
Okay.
He is painfully thin, but he'll fill up. He's like a puppy with big paws. He'll grow into it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got any more questions, Riser?
Well, it's not even about Tennessee. It's about Georgia. Since he's been on Georgia, he kind of been on the head for the last little second here.
Gotcha.
I think he fell. There you go. So, a Star question for you: with Georgia's schedule this season, do you
It
think that there's
is.
any way that they shouldn't be in the SEC championship?
Now I tell Georgia fans this, and you Alabama fans know this. I told them, I said, y'all need to watch out for that Week 5 game, which is at Auburn. And they got Hugh Freeze, and I love Hugh Freeze. He's a great offensive mind. I think he's going to do great things. And y'all know as well as I do, there is a voodoo burial ground under Jordan-Hare Stadium over there in Lee County.
I agree. I agree.
Because, literally, they literally beat Georgia in 2013 on a 4th and 18 pass from Nick Marshall. He chucked it up in the air. It hit a Georgia secondary player on his helmet, and it bounced right in the receiver's hand and walks in for a touchdown.
Mm.
And then, of course, the famous kick six that y'all probably don't want to remember.
Hey, my cousin was on that team too.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the thing. Like, there's some voodoo going on over there in Lee County. I don't know. But anyways, I think that they give Georgia a game. I'm not saying they're going to beat them, but don't be surprised if that game goes down to the wire, because that's going to be a hostile environment. I can tell you from being around Auburn fans, they want that game. They want Alabama. They want Georgia.
Gotcha.
And then of course after that, they should have a pretty manageable schedule as long as they don't shoot themselves in the foot until they get to Tennessee.
Okay. And
So this Mo Better is saying I'm delusional. Okay, you're obviously not a real Georgia fan, because you would have agreed with me when I said there's an Indian burial ground under Jordan-Hare Stadium. For God's sakes, one year they were playing LSU, I think, and there was a big house fire or something. It was on TV. You can see the smoke going up.
right. I
Weird
agree.
things happen at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
I agree. It's some wicked stuff going on down there. I don't know what it is, but man, I don't like it at all. So
Guy said Auburn needs a quarterback. I agree. They need a quarterback. I'm sure Hugh Freeze will make it work. We don't know yet.
Right. Okay.
Hey, go ahead.
I do have something for you here. So 2024, we're adding Oklahoma, we're adding Texas to the SEC. Therefore,
They don't need to come. We don't want them.
Unfortunately, it is what it is.
Hey, I got an idea. Instead of that, why not? Let's bring back the OGs. Let's bring back Georgia Tech and Tulane.
Hey,
Not Tulane.
people
Hey,
forget that Georgia
Tulane.
Tech was in
Hey,
the
Tulane's
SEC.
got a good football team. Come on now.
Hey, yeah, but hey, this is what I say. They beat USC, and what I'm saying about USC is yes, they have an offense, great offense, and all that. But hey, it's the Pac-12. But Tulane, no, not the Tulane. Tulane
Well,
is playing great football.
yeah. Now, do y'all know the reason why Georgia Tech left the SEC in 1964?
No,
No,
According to Georgia Tech fans, Bear Bryant is the worst scum of earth ever. According to Georgia Tech fans, that they blame him for the reason why the 140 scholarship rule didn't change in the 60s. But what was weird was Bobby Dodd, the coach at Georgia Tech, never wanted to play any of the Western SEC teams. He never wanted to play Tulane. He never wanted to play LSU. He never wanted to play the Mississippi teams. He refused to go there. Outright refused. And a lot of people might not remember because, like I said, that was back in the day. But Georgia Tech had a huge rivalry with Alabama. They had a
that's
huge
all right.
rivalry with Auburn. They had a huge rivalry with Tennessee. They had of course, Georgia. I mean, Auburn, I've heard Auburn fans talk about back then, they literally had a week dedicated to it. It's called Rec Tech Week. In Alabama's fight song, they mentioned Georgia Tech. They say send the Yellow Jackets
yes.
to a watery grave.
Right.
That's
That's
about
what I was
Georgia
about to.
Tech. I'm telling you, that's what
Yep,
I mean.
yep. That's
The,
what I was
the,
about to bring
the
up too.
Alabama Georgia
Yep.
Tech rivalry, because at one point, the two winningest teams in the SEC was Georgia Tech and Alabama.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, you ask any Georgia Tech fan about Bear Bryant, especially if they're a little older, I mean, they think he's the biggest piece of scum of human flesh that's ever existed.
They'll be all right. So, but since I mean, Oklahoma's coming and Texas coming, we can't turn it around. We're gonna leave the Eastern and the Western divisions, and we're gonna go with the 3-6-6 format.
Yep.
Now,
Yes.
it's going to change some things. Now, what they're projecting is we will still see Tennessee every year. We will see
Yep.
Auburn every year, and I think we will still play
And
LSU.
LSU.
Right, but
And LSU.
that's going to on the eastern side of things. That's going to change you guys who you see, and you'll see more Western teams.
I see ours being, I'm just being honest with you, I think ours is going to be Alabama,
Ah, Lord, man.
This is good convo though. This is good convo.
Right. I want to know what you think about that, right? Because
All right, back again. Tennessee's most likely is Alabama, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky.
okay. Do you like that format, or is it?
Because,
I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, I have no say in it, but that's what I think it's most likely going to be. Like, you can kind of easily predict who is going to be for each team. Like, Georgia's is probably going to be Auburn, Florida, South Carolina.
Okay.
Uh, like I said, Alabama's is going to be Tennessee, Auburn, LSU. For
Right.
Auburn, it's probably going to be Georgia, Alabama, LSU.
Mm. So
For Florida, I would say probably South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky.
okay. Yeah.
Um, I'd have to sit there and actually like think this up for a minute, but that's like you can kind of get the gist of it. It's usually the teams you got the most history with. Like
Right.
I know technically a lot of younger Tennessee fans will get mad at me when I say this. I don't consider Florida a rival because they're not really a historic rival. They were only a rival in the '90s
Okay.
because Steve Spurrier's from East Tennessee and he stoked the Flames because he wanted to play at Tennessee and Tennessee never offered him. They offered him basketball. So he was still very mad about that. And basically, Steve Spurrier was Lane Kiffin before Lane Kiffin.
Okay.
He was a
Yeah.
troll. He was a trash talker.
Okay.
He still is. I mean, God love him.
And
I
then
mean, literally, he was known for making snide comments.
right.
Like he said, you can't spell citrus without UT. I mean, again, he always made little comments.
Right. So we're going to a 12-team playoff. What do you think that how is that going to affect the SEC, or should I
I
say
don't.
how SEC going to affect the 12-team playoff?
Well, I mean, yeah, they should be in the 12-team playoff almost every year, in my opinion. But anyways, I honestly, you might call me crazy. I wish we'd go back to the BCS system because I feel like
Mhm.
it was more fair. You had better matchups. You didn't take away from bowl games, and you didn't have any of this. Oh, I'm sitting out for the bowl game because I got to save my draft stock. You used to never see that. When when you started seeing that during the playoff, because when they made the playoff, that made all the other bowls not mean anything. I got an idea. How about this? You send the conference champion just to the selected bowl. Like, for example, if you win the SEC, you just go to the Sugar Bowl. There you go. If you win the ACC, go to the Orange Bowl. If you win the Big 12, you go to the Fiesta Bowl. If you win the Pac 12 or the Big 10, you go to the Rose Bowl. There you
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's what used to be for decades back then. It wasn't even making a certain bowl. Like, you wanted to make the Sugar Bowl because that was seen as like
That
you won
fact.
the SEC.
Right. As Mo
And the
Better said,
reason that we, huh?
Mo Better said both of us, meaning Alabama and Tennessee, we need 12-team playoff to make the playoffs. That's
Yeah.
you need 12 teams to make the
I mean,
playoff. Georgia finally
I
wins
mean,
some, and they can't. Well,
Hey, I'm just telling y'all this. I'm just telling you this more better. If we had a 12-team playoff this year, y'all would have been upset in the end, bro.
yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, who knows? I mean, honestly, in 2022, I didn't see anybody beating Georgia. I don't think Alabama would have beat them. Tennessee didn't beat them. I don't think anybody was beating them. After I seen what happened that Oregon game, I said right then, nobody's beating them. They're winning it again. Because
Yeah.
I was thinking that Oregon was going to give them a game, but then Oregon comes out and just gets drug up and down the field. Like,
Hey,
Yeah.
it's just sad
I
to
wish
watch. Like,
I can bring, I, but I was.
Can you hear me, Nick?
Y'all hear me?
I can hear you now. I think we're losing you.
but
I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
but yeah, like I said, um, what was it again? We got off track.
Oh, we were talking about the 12 team, and you said you wish we go back to the BCS system.
The 12. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean because right, you know why we left the BCS system, right?
Yeah, but for the fans that don't know,
2011.
I know.
Because they felt like the SEC was getting too dominant, and they felt like, hey, if we make a 4-team playoff, we'll have other conferences winning the national championship. And all it did is you've had what, 2 scenarios where you've had an SEC national championship game since, both
Right,
being Georgia and Alabama.
right.
So I mean, what are you going to do in a 12-team playoff? Have 6 SEC teams? Because I can tell you, Georgia and Alabama's probably going to make it a lot of years, as long as Nick Saban's there.
Right.
Then you got LSU, and
Tennessee
you
would have
got
been in it.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
That's 4 SEC teams right there.
right.
And I would pick all 4 of them against the other conferences. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry, TCU, if TCU played Alabama instead of Georgia, TCU still would have got skull drugged. If
Right.
TCU played Tennessee, Tennessee would have skull drugged them. If they played LSU, LSU would have skull drugged them.
Right.
Because we just have so much better athletes.
Right. It's
I mean,
different.
and listen, I'm not knocking TCU. I think what they did to make it that far was damn impressive. But
Right.
you got to be based in reality. You don't recruit at a top 10 level like these 4 teams. Like I said, even during the bad years, Tennessee was recruiting in the top 10.
Right.
During the bad years with bad coaches. So now people are so shocked that Tennessee was able to get it turned around pretty quick under Josh Heupel. I'm like, no, it's not that shocking because we've had the talent the whole time. We just had bad coaching. I mean, my God. Well, okay, I'll use Alabama for example. During the 3 Mikes era, was Alabama recruiting bad?
No.
No.
Yeah.
They just had bad coaching.
Right.
And that's the thing at a place like Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Florida State, Miami. Those places recruit at a high level. Even when they're bad. Like, didn't Miami just have a top 5 class?
Yes, they did.
Exactly. And do we consider Miami that good? No. It's not a talent problem. It's a coaching problem. I'll give you a prime example. Tennessee in 2015 and 2016 should have won the East both years. They should have been in the playoff those years. But you know why we weren't? We had Butch Jones as a coach who couldn't manage a talent roster to save his life. Like, literally, listen to these names. Josh Dobb, Jalen Hurd, Alvin Kamara, Josh Malone on offense.
Yeah.
On defense, we had the best edge rusher since Reggie White and Derek Barnett. I mean, this guy was a beast coming off the edge. He ended up being a first-round NFL pick. And, I mean, we just had studs all over that team. Great players all around. Like, just a well-rounded, well-oiled machine. But, again, Butch Jones didn't know what in the world he was doing, and he couldn't manage a talent roster. Like, my God, how is it you had Alvin Kamara and you misuse him? You don't know what you're doing. A prime example, look what he's doing now at Arkansas State. I'll tell you what he's doing at Arkansas State. He's losing.
Something happened. Can you hear me, Junior?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but again, like I said, man, Tennessee's always had talent. We just had coaching problems. I mean, we went from Philip Fulmer, who was a Tennessee legend. I know the stuff is AD, what happened, but as a coach, he's a Tennessee legend. Then we get Lane Kiffin. I think Lane Kiffin might have worked out if he had stayed, but he left after 1 season. Then we get Derek Dooley, that dumbass that didn't know what he was doing. And then we get Bush Jones, who does a little better, but he's a used car salesman and that's why he got all those recruits. But then he can't manage the talent roster to save his life. And then we get old cornbread himself, old Baldy. We get Jeremy Pruitt, who should have had an elite defense, but again, didn't know what he was doing as a head coach. And puts us under NCAA investigation. But now we finally got a head coach after about the 5th try.
Okay.
So, yeah, if I'm a little too optimistic, I think I've earned it a little bit after going through about 15 years through the wilderness. So anyways, it was good being on here with you guys. It's lagging pretty bad, and I've got to go to bed anyways, so I got to get up really early. Nick Saban Jr., I will definitely be doing this next time. Hopefully I don't have the connection issue like I'm having. Anyways, y'all have a good night and go Big Orange.
Okay, thanks for having you.
Man, I wish we could have had better connection because I think we'd have had a whole way better show. But anyway, he got his point across, and hey, I like the guy, man.
Hey,
So I'm looking at some of the fans, I'm looking at the chats, and
hey, but I knew he was gonna do what he do. I knew that. That's why I brought him on. I knew he knew Tennessee football like no other.
yeah, he Mo better say the dude crying, but in my eyes, the dude is knowledgeable about his team. And if he's passionate about his team, hey, he's passionate about his team. We can't take that from him. Our Alabama fans are passionate about their team. Georgia fans are passionate about their team right now.
And that's why I'm glad we do this, because all of our fan bases are very, very passionate about our team. We feel about our team, and that's why I like to have these discussions with these other teams. Because hey, get out here and talk your spit.
Right. Talk your team, man. Listen, everybody have their right, to come on and say whatever they feel. Whether you agree or not, that's we in America, baby. That's a good thing about it. You can agree
Facts.
and whatever. The Alabama game, I don't care who's playing Miro or Ty Simpson. We winning regardless. I don't agree with him, but I respect him as a man. I respect his, he did say, hey, listen, it depends on who's the quarterback.
Yeah.
Miro's not a good quarterback, and he can't put up the points to beat Tennessee. But I really think he's overlooking the defense this year. I think he's overlooking what our defense is going to bring to the table this year. So it ain't going to be one man with 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So.
And like I tell people, anybody, like when you replace coordinators, coaches, quarterbacks, it's a question mark for anybody, man. It's a big question mark. And so I get doubts about Kevin Steele in the defense, but hey, I guess, like you said, it's their opinion. It's your opinion about the thing, man.
Right. So it's all good. I enjoyed it, man. I want to come back on Tennessee week, the third week in October.
Oh yeah.
I want to have this on. Hopefully, we have a better connection, and we can really chop it up, and we will know who the quarterback is, so he can give us a true. He can give us a true, prediction of who he think is going to win.
And then we'll have whoever the quarterback is. We're gonna have some games up on our belt,
Exactly.
So they can change people's thoughts too. Hey, I was having some technical difficulty issues over here, man.
Hey, it was a crazy night, man. It's been a crazy night, but we managed to get through the show, and we appreciate all the people in the chat, man, for sticking through all the craziness. The man kept going off and on. Like I said, he is a trucker and he's on the road. So, I don't know where he is, but he might be in some small town full of trees somewhere that's blocking, signal or whatever. So we had to take our hats off to him for keep coming back. And he could be like, what, I'm tired of this, and we'll do it another time. So he stuck through it, and we appreciate you there for that, sir, Mr. TriStar, and hope to have you on again. And man, we had an hour and 38 minutes, brother.
Yeah, I see, man. Hey, my job's so messed up over here. I can't see comments no more. My timer ain't even moving no more.
So with everybody who stuck with it, with us tonight through all the craziness with this internet and everything going on, we appreciate you guys, and we're gonna call it a night. Next week we got a good show coming up for you. Hopefully everything goes smooth with the internet. I won't say who it will be, but this person
on the 4th.
May 4th. On the 4th. I'm sorry. Next week is we got the draft going on. So you know how that goes. So on the 4th we have a good guest coming up. I won't say who it is, but
matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you when we get off. I actually got 2 guys.
Okay. I knew about
but one of them, Yeah, the one you talking about is the main guy though.
Okay, cool. With that being said, y'all, we're gonna close it up and say good night, man. We appreciate everybody. To all your Georgia fans, hey, glad you came on in. All my Roll Tide fans, all my Bama Nation, you know what it is. Roll Tide, baby, Roll Tide. Everybody have a good night.